Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently pushing in the Japanese here, and I mean, these guys are going to give up eventually. We'll have to see when they decide to actually do that. We're making our way to the front lines. It's not the speediest thing I've ever seen, and also I'm wondering, I was hoping that this would actually appear correctly when I restarted this game, but apparently it hasn't. So that's good to know. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to look to push a front line straight down, or not a front line, an offensive line, straight down to about there. Interesting direction to do that from. I was intending to push it in like this, but okay, I guess that works. I mean, honestly, it's fine. Most of this up here we already hold. So let's go ahead and do that, and we want to aggressively execute it. So, actually, it's looking to me like I should probably just do a front line here. No, that's just appearing the same. Okay, that must just be a change that occurred at some point. Like maybe an option that I accidentally selected without realizing it or something. But, you know what? Let's just make our front line be to push in something like that. There we go. And they can go ahead and execute that. Wonderful. So that is all underway. Of course, we are also working on getting our remaining tank brigades ready to go, and our garrison units. Fantastic. In fact, these are ready to be deployed, and so we shall. We'll deploy them early. They are garrison units, after all. Wonderful. And all of those will go into, let's see here. This is going to be a little bit over cap, if I recall correctly. No longer telling me what the minimum divisions are? Oh, because the execution is open. Right. Fantastic. Okay, so minimum divisions are 71. So we want to grab 10 of these units. In fact, probably the 10 most recent units here. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to move them into this army here. And these guys require 74. So they'll need a while yet. And that is just fine. So we're going to get what we can out of Japan. And we're, of course, going to use that to start fighting against the Allies. But we're not going to do that immediately, under any circumstances. Like, that would be a terrible idea, to immediately fight the Allies, because look at this. That would just be awful. That would be terrible. We're never going to do that. We're going to try to carve off bits of the Allies over here and get them to leave the faction. Is going to be the overall idea. And we do need to work on some more upgrades over here. Let's grab the Air Force Department for now. Fantastic. How are we doing on our actual production? The one that is, of course, most important. I mean, support equipment is important. But the one that's most important right now is modern tanks. Okay, that's going to be a little bit. But once we're done actually fighting here, then it shouldn't be too bad. So we're going to push in as much as possible over here. We're working on heading to the front lines, but it's slow. After all, it is January. And we are working on constructing in all of these locations with our infrastructure. So that is wonderful. We will continue working on that, and we will continue pressing on in here. We'll see when we manage to actually get some progress on that one, but it should be fairly soon, realistically speaking. The co-prosperity sphere over here is in full collapse at this point. It's just a matter of time. And that time is something that we absolutely do have. So we're currently gaining about 14k monthly growth in our states, which isn't great, if I'm honest. It's not great. Now, we are currently on service by requirement. And I would like to bump that back to extensive conscription at some point. That will cut our recruitable population in half, to be fair. This manpower, it'll just go away when that happens. And to some degree, that's fine-ish. But by and large, it's not really all that fine. But we don't want to have the penalties. So there is that. Our Coast Guards are still filling out, although they're getting closer. Over here, we only need 74. So it'll be a few more iterations of our infantry division before that's ready to go. This over here requires 29. So that's fine. That's completely okay. It'll be some time, I think, before we start fighting the Allies. Fingers crossed on that one. But there's a reason why we're deploying these garrison forces as quickly as we ever can. Like, as fast as possible. Our tank forces we're allowing to fully develop, though. And that should, in theory, be fine. Now, we would very much like to see some of these guys down here leaving the Allies. That would be amazing. Maybe we should have this guy work on boosting ideology in the Argentine Republic. It does require an intel network. So we'll get started on making that. I think... Where's our resistance to occupation at? Compliance map mode. Actually, we want resistance map mode. Okay, this is getting better. I'm not going to call it great, but it's getting better. Okay. Sounds good. So we are continuing to push back the Japanese over here, and there are plenty of resources in this region for us to grab. That's fantastic, and we're currently getting 2 steel from here right now. Now there's 4 steel available, but we're only getting 2 of it. Dominion of India is changing their lend-lease. That's fine, we don't care. Good amounts of steel available here, and we're going to continue to work on getting all of that, but for now, there's only so much that we can grab. And that's because of the compliance, of course. So we are pushing in over this way. And we're just going to continue to push here. There's only so much that they can do. The Russian Federation is getting quite a lot of territory over here. And that's not a terrible thing, but it's not great for us. The US getting territory over here isn't great either. That said, much of this territory is technically ours, which is fantastic. We took it from the Soviet Union. And we'll see how much we can actually get from Japan as well. We're going to be prioritizing areas that, of course, deliver us the resources that we need, of which there are a great plenty. There are many resources that we need at this time. So that is completely okay. How are we doing on our trainings? It's kind of slow. Kind of slow indeed. We're a little over halfway on this round of garrison units. And that's fine. So we are reinforcing over here. What are we up to for war contribution? We're still at 2%, but the tooltip says 3%. So I'm going to go with what the tooltip thinks. Fantastic. I mean, we are actually making contributions at this point, so that is definitely something that is good to note. I'm not sure why we have some Group 1 assignments over here, but I'm hoping that they'll change once we connect that up. We'll have to see. We will definitely have to see on that front. We've almost joined up with the Allies over here, so that is absolutely wonderful for us. We've just about cut these guys in half. In the meantime, we are still struggling to push up here, but it's going much better now. They decrypted our ciphers. I don't care. That is very, very irrelevant to us. Like, incredibly irrelevant. So, once the war with Japan is over, we are going to try very, very hard not to make the United States too angry at us. Very, very hard indeed. And once we have that situation under control, like, once we're no longer at war, we're going to work on stockpiling a bit, and we're going to work on fortifications and infrastructure. Not in that order, other order. Infrastructure, then fortifications. We're going to want to fortify border regions like all of these. We're going to want to fortify our coasts. We're going to want to fortify all of this if possible. I mean, it's going to take a while to get all that done. There's no doubt about it, but we're going to want to get as much of it done as possible. That we don't actually care about. Legionary Bulgaria there. Are they... Yeah, they're in integrated Brazil. I thought so. I thought so. We're also interested in getting places like Portugal into our faction. Which... they're still non-aligned. We could probably think about justifying on them. There's the Air Force Department finishing up. We're going to continue finishing up our intelligence agency here. We'll grab blueprint stealing. Perfect. And we are continuing to push the Japanese back along this front. That's great. We're very, very happy with that. These guys are just taking a long time to get to the front or having a lack of supplies. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see. I think at this point, we want our modern tanks to be higher in terms of... What is happening here? Okay, Manchukuo just capitulated. That's fine. There we go. Now I want all of our steel to be going into our modern tanks for now. Okay. That'll be fine. So Manchukuo managed to capitulate. That's fine. How many more people are in this war? Not a lot that haven't capitulated, in all honesty. So this will be okay. We're not having too much issue here. Marines 3 have finished up. That's great. And we are going to grab, at this point, I think, Mechanized 3. There we go. Yeah, there's very, very little that hasn't capitulated here. So there's only so much that we're going to be able to get, but we'll take what we can from the peace deal and just see what we get out of it. Last peace deals, we managed to take a disproportionate amount of territory, in all honesty. I do think that attacking Portugal wouldn't be a bad idea. Ooh, we got a rocket interceptor. Perfect. Oh yeah, we have this territory. I completely forgot about it. There's no actual resources here, so we don't exactly care. But yeah, we did get that territory. That is correct. So we're just going to continue pushing on in here, and we are taking, I think, more territory than we own. Yeah, this is starting to get into territory that we don't own down here. Fantastic. Up here, we're still pushing into our territory that was taken from us by the Japanese, which is to be expected. Completely and totally. But these guys are in full retreat, and they're being carved up at this point. This territory over here is all ours as well. That's great. We're very, very happy about it. We're constructing as much as we can over here. Honestly, these naval bases are probably starting to become less of a priority. But I guess we'll go ahead and wrap those up and then work on our infrastructure. And then all this other stuff. That'll be fine. So yeah, I think that's our overall plan, is we're going to embrace some peace for a while, we're going to do some good old-fashioned diplomacy, and we're going to fortify our existing positions while we prepare to take on the behemoth. We're not currently prepared for it. We will need to be. It's going to be rough. No doubt about it. We're going to do a region-wide industrial integration here and see where we can build a civilian factory. Is that up here? We can actually build a couple. Fantastic. That's nice. So we'll go ahead and make those be our top priorities. Excellent. Those will, of course, accelerate all other constructions. And yeah, at this point, we've kind of split off into two halves with this army. That's definitely exciting. Definitely exciting. We can probably deploy these guys, right? Yes, we can. And so we shall. We need to get these guys filtered into our coast guards, after all. So these guys move in here. And we're at not quite half on this army. Or rather, this Coast Guard. And then this one over here, of course, requires 29. You know what? Maybe we should move them over here. So we do something like this. There. So this army is complete, and all we need now is not that many divisions, actually. That's only going to be a few. A few rounds, I mean, of this. And yes, our manpower is plummeting from this. I'm aware of it. Once we finish up this over here, it shouldn't be too bad. In theory. In theory. Let's see. Civilian population is going up decently. I would like to have more non-core population available. Yes, we will accept your lend-lease. So yeah, compliance does increase the local non-core manpower, so that will continue to come up in a lot of these newer areas for quite a while yet. So that's very, very good to note. Oh, what's this? Is this a full-on... No, I was going to say. Is this a full-on faction capitulation? Because the game froze for a moment there, but no, it came back. No such luck. Well, we're just continuing to attack on a lot of different fronts here, and there's very little left. Like, this war is incredibly close to being over, I feel like. Just incredibly close. So we're just going to continue to push in these couple of locations here, take what territory belongs to us, continue to queue up infrastructure where we can. And that's great. We're going to want all the infrastructure, and we're just hoping at this point to get a good piece of the pie from the peace deal. That's the overall goal. Blueprint stealing. Sure. And let's go ahead and work on, say, portable radios next. Excellent. How close are we to getting some of these modern tank brigades online? Still a ways. That's fine, of course. We're not going to be recruiting any more of these. So actually, yeah. Each line will only create one. There we go. Excellent. So that should not automatically start another line as soon as that finishes up. These ones we're still going to be on infinite, although we know that we need... How many did we need? 69, I think? Yes. So, let's see here. Why do I have to pull up a calculator for this? But I definitely do. So that'll need to be 4.3 per. So we're just going to do that, and then we'll reevaluate. Excellent. Wait. Does it need to be 4 over this number? So it would then be 17? Like that? Perhaps. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. That's fine. And these tank divisions are heavily underway as well. That's going to continue to take a while. And take a lot of resources from this front. This isn't surprising, honestly, that we're very, very short on modern tanks. Not surprising in the slightest. But we will continue to push in over here, and I really do expect the co-prosperity sphere to capitulate quite soon. Quite soon indeed. These guys will finish training soon-ish. That's fine. We're going to get another line of these guys good to go soon-ish as well. We're currently at 3% of the war effort, allegedly. May or may not be factual. We'll see. But we're hoping to get more than 3% of the territory from this. That's our goal. So we're going to continue to press in all along these fronts here. Are we actually attacking? Because we don't have any offensive lines. This is kind of split up into a giant mess, and I don't really want to change anything because I feel like I'll just fundamentally break it. But yeah, we are attacking. So that's very good to see. Okay. Absolutely wonderful. How are we doing on our constructions? They're coming along, but kind of slowly. It's to be expected. Currently making 23 modern tanks per day. I'd definitely like to see that number come up a little bit. And I'd also like to see us getting more steel, but... The restoration of the Bulgarian Patriarchy. With the support of the government, the Exarch of Bulgaria has pressured the Patriarch of Constantinople to recognize the autocephaly of the Bulgarian Orthodox Church. Faced with such demands by a threatening Regency Council, the Ecumenical Patriarchate of Constantinople, words are apparently very difficult, has been forced to allow the Holy Synod to adopt a new statute. Wait, there's a Constantinople? Oh, there's an Istanbul. Okay. I was going to say, has been forced to allow the Holy Synod to adopt a new statute with which it will be able to elect the head of the Bulgarian Church, and thus, after more than 7 centuries, restore the Bulgarian Patriarchate. An interesting development indeed. So there's no Constantinople. I didn't think there would be. Hey, Turkey. What are you up to? 21% fascist. Okay. Well, I'm going to use this gentleman over here to start working on boosting our ideology over here. And he will succeed in boosting that, so that is fantastic. Will this guy succeed in boosting ideology in the US? No. So we're not going to bother with that at this exact moment. Okay. Sounds good. We are, of course, continuing to push in over here. And that's wonderful. How short are we on our resources at this point? Quite is the answer. Quite. 421 steel is what we need. That's a lot of steel. There's no doubt about it. Now, we would love to grab some of the steel over here in the Russian Federation. Like, if you look at this, 270 steel here. 270 steel here. Like, we want to take the Russian Federation in its entirety. That would be amazing. In order to do that, we'd have to figure out a way to get them out of their faction and into our faction, most likely. Or just straight up fight them when they're out of their faction and take them over. That would be another possibility. I'm not sure how good of a possibility that would be. We're apparently walking around this unit of tanks. Okay, they're stack wiped. Now we're going in. Perfect. So our territory has come back to us over here, and we've gotten a little bit extra, at least temporarily. Are there any resources over here? Not really very much. I mean, this over here would be okay to take. Not a whole lot of steel available over here. Mostly over in... Well, there's some in China, but really Russia has great supplies of it. And we'd love to take that off their hands. Not via trade, ideally. We'd like to just straight up take it off their hands. That would be the ideal scenario, but I don't know how realistic that's going to be. It'll depend on how the diplomatic status bears out in the future, because it's going to get very spicy here once the Allies no longer have a war with anyone but us, I feel like. I also feel like we should probably improve relations with the UK. So let's go ahead and do that. That'll be fine. And how are things going in the Argentine Republic? Their fascism is growing, and that is wonderful. Portable radios. This is an awkward time for a freeze, but okay, I guess it's completely okay. We will go ahead and work on Invisible Ink next. That is great, and we're continuing to take territory over here. We are interested in queuing up additional infrastructure in many of these locations. Fantastic. The Tibetan Empire with just one single province. That's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting indeed. So I feel like there's not really all that much left to do in this war. It's pretty much done. So the only question is, do the Allies turn on us after this? Well, if they do, we are going to struggle. If they give us the time that we need, then we may not struggle. So we're going to grab all of these guys, and they move in here, of course. And we need another 53 units there. So that's great. Technically, there's this down here. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to continue doing what we're doing for now. Yes, it is just demolishing our available manpower. We're going to have to... Why, hello there. Okay. So the US has already made their demands, pretty much, as has basically everyone else. There are some demands that will continue to be made. So, we actually don't have anything that we can do. There's nothing left to take. We got nothing from that. There's literally nothing. Okay. Well, that's disappointing. That's exceptionally disappointing. Okay, so this is technically the end of the game, but we're going to continue game from here. So, we were actually 8th place there. Not bad considering our starting point. But we'll continue. In terms of factions, we were 2nd place behind the Allies. And there we go. Of course, our story doesn't end there. Now, these guys, they're going to have to find somewhere to be. For now, I think we're probably going to position them... just over here? I guess? For now. It'll do. So they'll make their way up over there, and they'll get there eventually. Our story does not end there. The question is, do the Allies get salty at us? The answer is probably. Poland just canceled their non-aggression pact with us. England does not have one, and wouldn't accept one. So we are expecting that they are likely to declare war on us fairly soon. If they don't, then we're extremely happy. Like, incredibly happy. For now, though, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we'll see what the Allies decide to do about our situation. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I'll see you all next time.